All right, everyone. A very good morning and a warm welcome to all of you who have just joined us for the UAE Careers Community Virtual Fair. A couple of quick house rules that I'm going to pop into the chat. Please ensure that your mics are muted and videos switched off through the session. There will be time for questions at the end of each session. You're welcome to then either unmute and speak or drop your questions and comments in the chat box. In case you don't get your questions answered today, you can always email us on events@uaecareerscommunity.com and we'll ensure that the speaker gets back to you. Finally, if anyone is found disrupting the session, they will unfortunately be removed and will not be allowed back into the Zoom room. So, on to our 11 a.m. session. I would like to welcome very warmly our speaker, Ms. Vandana Mahajan. Just as a quick introduction, um, Vandana Mahajan was the Director International Liaison at University of Toronto and was involved in admissions, developing international strategies for the university, setting admission guidelines, and establishing liaison with institutions overseas. She was also part of the former Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper's delegation in 2012, representing Canadian institutions and promoting opportunities in the education sector in Canada. She has been working closely with the FICCI and Higher Education Planning Commission in India over the last 5 years, and is currently also on the board of several universities, assisting them in setting admission guidelines and developing market strategies. Today, Ms. Mahajan will be talking to us and advising us for applying to universities around the world. Thank you so much, and over to you, Ms. Mahajan.
Thank you so much for a very warm welcome. And thanks to the UAE Careers Community first for having me as a speaker today. Today, I'm talking about the educational opportunities in Australia and New Zealand. I'm just going to share my screen and we will begin shortly. Perfect. So today we are here talking about New Zealand and Australia as a study destination. Let's start with New Zealand first. Why New Zealand when it is a very welcoming country? I know my introduction says a lot about Canada, but I'll just briefly clarify that I am an educationist. I have been in the education sector for over 20 years. I have worked very closely with Canadian universities. I am a Canadian, but I've worked in that capacity very closely with all universities across the globe. New Zealand and Australia are unique destinations. And today I'm taking this opportunity to talk a little bit about New Zealand first and Australia thereafter. So why New Zealand is unique? It is a unique destination because it's not just a beautiful place to visit, but it's also a very good destination with top ranked universities. New Zealand universities are ranked in the top 3% in the world, and it's home to advanced research facilities for international students. The universities in New Zealand rank in the top 100 universities globally by all international rankings. And I've cited the example of QS World University Ranking, which is a very popular international ranking, which I'm sure you all know. It is also an English-speaking country, so the mode of instruction is 100% English, and it's known for preparing students to be futuristic, and it prepares leaders of the world. There are different kinds of institutions, educational institutions in New Zealand. We have the universities, of course, which offer you bachelor's and master degree programs. We have private training establishments, which are there to equip you with professional designations. And these are private, so they're not governed by the government. And we also have vocational or professional training institutions, which are also quite popular in New Zealand, which offer you education in technical subjects and train you for the industry. So they're industry specific, and they're preparing you for the workforce in New Zealand itself. Just to give you a glimpse of the rankings, the universities in New Zealand, as you can see, are ranked amongst the top 500 in the world. We have University of Auckland, which is ranked 81, Otago, Canterbury, Victoria University of Wellington, Waikato, Massey, Lincoln, etc. So you can be rest assured the quality of education that you'll get in New Zealand is of top-notch quality with unique professors, a lot of Nobel laureate professors from across the globe, and advanced research facilities. Some of the popular courses students are choosing to study in New Zealand are medicine. Under the Faculty of Medicine, the universities which are very well known are University of Auckland and Otago. Then dentistry, University of Otago is very famous for dentistry. Engineering is again University of Auckland and Canterbury. Agriculture, Lincoln University. Aviation, veterinary science, Masses, Palmerston in North Campus. And law is offered by several universities, and they're very well known across the globe in all international rankings. We have University of Auckland, Canterbury, Auckland University of Technology, Victoria University of Wellington, Otago, and Waikato. The qualifications which are granted to you is bachelor degrees, of course. You have a Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Nursing, Engineering, Law, and Medicine. We also have master's degrees. Different kinds of master's degrees are available. You have graduate diploma programs, you have undergraduate diploma programs, you have certificate programs, and you also have short 3 months courses available in New Zealand. If you're looking at doing something in summer or your spare time, it is a good opportunity to go. And some of the popular courses are business and management, computer science and IT, education, engineering and technology, environmental science, humanities, medicine, and health sciences. The cost of education in New Zealand, I would say, is quite affordable. You can expect to pay anywhere around New Zealand dollars, $22,000 to $32,000, which is equivalent to US dollars, almost $15,000 to $21,700 per year. And these are, I've taken the costing from some of the top ranked universities globally. So you can see it's quite affordable in comparison to a lot of other top universities across the globe. There will be some higher fees for subjects like medicine, veterinary science, because there's a lot of research work involved. So be prepared that you're paying a little bit higher than this price, which is cited here. For the postgraduate study programs, the average cost, my apologies. The average cost is approximately New Zealand dollar 26,000 to 37,000. There are PhD degrees available in New Zealand universities as well. And the living cost is approximately 15,000 New Zealand dollars, which is equivalent to US dollars 10,200 approximately. So as you can see, it's quite affordable, and you can be studying in New Zealand in one of the top universities, well-ranked globally at an affordable price. New Zealand is also known for postgraduate work study permit. There have been some changes due to COVID. The existing international students who are currently in New Zealand and are pursuing degree courses can continue to work for 3 years. And they do not need to be employer assisted. Initially, that was the requirement. Now they've waived that requirement completely. Foreign students who are going for below the degree level, which if you can go for undergraduate diploma, you will be able to work for a maximum of 2 years after completing your program. And if you're studying in Auckland, you will be able to work for maximum of 1 year. The admission intakes are a little bit different. The admission intakes for New Zealand are July and Feb instead of September, which you'll see in US, Canada, and UK. Let's move to now Australia. Australia is a growing destination, and a lot of students are now asking about what are the institutions in Australia, what are the top ranked global cities, and why study in Australia. Let's talk about why Australia to begin with. Australia is home to some of the unique top ranked universities. 7 of the top 100 universities in the world are in Australia. These are world-class research institutions, and you'll see a lot of students from across the globe choose Australia as a study destination for several reasons. Quality of education is unmatched. There are great universities with amazing professors, a lot of Nobel laureates and PhD professors who've made Australia their home and are teaching students different programs. The three popular cities in Australia are Melbourne, Sydney, and Adelaide, and are ranked in the top 10 livable cities in the world, as per the Economic Intelligence Unit of 2019. Australia industry linkages are very unique. Students get industry placements. There is a lot of research collaborations and exchange partnerships with global institutions across the globe. The weather in Australia in the spring and autumn, they are the best time of the year. It's very pleasant, very comfortable climate. And most of the cities, generally the climate is temperate and warm in the summers with very mild winters. In case you have concerns about weather, then be rest assured Australia offers you good climate conditions as well. Australian universities are ranked very well globally. I've taken a clipping of the QS World University Rankings in the 2021. And the top 10 Australian universities, as you can see, are ranked amongst the top 200 of the world, which is, I think, commendable in comparison to a lot of other countries which are growing in education as a destination. Australia offers almost all kinds of programs, whether you're looking at bachelor's, master's, PhD, medical science, medical study, dentistry, veterinary sciences, nursing, and it's a very welcoming country. They're quite flexible in their admission requirements, and they want students with good academic credentials. They are not looking at students with the standardized test. They're purely going to be focusing on your grades and your performance in high school if you're applying for the bachelor's degree program, and also will focus a little bit on your extracurricular activities depending on the programs you're applying for, especially for engineering, medicine, dentistry, or veterinary sciences. The average tuition fee an international undergraduate student pays in Australia is approximately $30,800, which is equivalent to 22,000 US dollars approximately, which if you see is still quite affordable in comparison to a lot of other top universities globally. Again, the fee structure will be a little bit higher for medicine, dentistry, and veterinary science, and also for engineering, because these are professional programs. And there's a lot of research work involved in that, which takes the costing a little bit higher than usual. Cost of living in Australia is approximately US dollars 14,600. This is just a ballpark figure, and this is an annual cost, so which includes your living and all your meals as well. International students are awarded scholarships for their academic achievements. The Australian Awards, Endeavour Scholarship and Fellowships are mainly given for postgraduate level of study. Universities independently for bachelor degree programs do award student scholarships. These are purely merit-based. So if your grades are high in your high school, the chances of you getting scholarship based on your merit are quite high. Students going to Australia do get postgraduate work permit, and this work permit depends on the program you've applied for, the duration of the program, and it activates after you complete your degree. So if you want to stay and work after you graduate, you must apply to obtain a work visa in Australia. I do get a lot of questions. Do international students get jobs in Australia? There are ample part-time jobs. You're allowed to work as a student on a part-time basis, 20 hours a week. And if you graduate and you're looking for job opportunities, Australia does have a lot of job opportunities as well. It offers skilled immigration program for their graduates as well, but those are purely based on the program you're graduating from and the need of the job market in Australia at that particular year. So it is based on the professions. Immigration and work permits are usually related to the demand in professions which are in the market at that particular year when you're graduating. So I'm going to open myself up to questions, but if you want any further details, you want a copy of this presentation, please feel free to email us or email the careers community as they had mentioned their email, and we'll be absolutely delighted to share the presentation with you as well. So any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat box, or if you have any questions, please do ask me and be more than happy to respond.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mahajan, for the session. I believe we do have a couple of comments and questions. I'm just going to go ahead and read them out. We have Mir who's requested to get a copy of the presentation. Absolutely. We can get that to you post the event. And Tanya has written in asking, what is the application process like in Australia? Sorry, ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry, that's a great question. The application process for Australian universities is pretty straightforward. You have to apply. You have to first shortlist the universities which you think you're most eligible for. You can apply to several universities at the same time. There is no limit or restriction on the number of universities you can apply for. And you can apply directly. And in terms of the documentation needed for admissions, they're going to be requesting your grade reports from grade 10, 11, and predicted grades of the final year. You do need an IELTS result for admissions and also for visa for Australia. And they basically assess you on your grades based on your high school grades, and your predictors are very important as well. So as I mentioned before, Australian universities do give you advantage of working hard in high school, getting your grades up, and they will give you merit scholarships as well if your average in the final term is high, and you can expect some scholarships from Australian universities as well.
Great. So I don't see any other questions. Thank you so much, Ms. Mahajan, for the session today. It was a nice, short and sweet, but very informative one. And we do have a couple of classes that are actually streaming in and watching from high school. So I'm sure this will be of great benefit to them as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody, for attending. Bye-bye.
Bye. And with everyone else, thank you so much for attending this session. We will be beginning the next session, at 12 o'clock. So hang in tight and we'll be back soon. Thank you.